Yo, JD here, Limitless, and as you can see, we are back on F1 2021 as always, and we arrive back on some PlayStation lobbies. This is actually my first proper recording on the PlayStation. I think the first video I did fighting Miltos, one of the fastest players on F1, that was actually taken directly from PlayStation itself, so it looked like it was recorded with a very nice potato camera, but this time we're actually recording it ourselves, so it should be much better. We've got two races here today, two 5-lappers against some very good PS or PlayStation 4 or PS5 drivers, whichever one they are on. Nonetheless, some very fast people in here. Random grid in the Mercedes, and let's just see what we can do. So as we got 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights here, trying to get a good start. So as the lights go out now, do get a pretty good launch. Initially quite slow, but the pickup is pretty good afterwards. Coming through into here, this guy, Speed Josh, being a little bit slow on the apex, so we just take advantage going around the outside of him quite nicely. So that's up into 7th place. We have a guy called F&R Infamous, as we're sliding down the inside of the Red Bull really nicely. So taking full advantage so far. The guy Infamous in the lead, I believe, at this stage is a very fast driver himself. Had a few lobbies before this, kept on getting the upper hand on me, so really wanted to try and take amends to that in this race here. So up into 6th place. Good start so far, as some very aggressive driving from the two up ahead of us. Coming through here, trying to get a good exit. We've got this guy, CPR Bastly 66. Coming up through here, we're going to use our ERS, and we go use a slipstream of this guy up ahead, who's given us a very nice slipstream. Do we go side by side? Said no, we don't. Luckily, he decides to back out by getting a little bit of an invalidation. Now using the battery again, so we're actually being aggressive with the battery for once, and now up into 4th place already. So a very good first lap so far. Now our next target is this guy up ahead in the Alfa Romeo, and he is unfortunately, been punished by the track. This track, I think, is a very underrated track. Absolutely love driving around this one. It just rewards no mistakes. Well, doesn't reward any mistakes at all. You will get punished very severely if you do make one, and that is our second warning. So very tight on the track limits as well for some particular corners. So now we cannot afford to get a penalty, but we still have to push because we've got this guy called F&R Infamous up in the lead, and I was very determined to actually beat him in this race. So we're going to try and close in. We've used quite a lot of the battery so far, so going along with the advice that a lot of people put in the comments, I do read pretty much every single comment, as we do snatch the fastest lap. Just getting that psychological advantage always helps. But yeah, a lot of people saying I need to be a lot more aggressive on the battery power, and in some scenarios I have to agree completely. I think in others, I think it's always had worked out in my favour quite a bit to be a little bit cautious and save it when you need it. But now this is a scenario I really do need to actually start using this. So we did exactly what we wanted to do. We were into the DRS zone. So this is absolutely perfect. Making sure we're staying with the DRS zone on the exit of this corner. So doing this very nicely. The detection point is just on the exit. So using a bit of the boost just to make sure we are within it. And now we should be able to save a little bit more of the battery before we do need it. But the guys up ahead don't have a time penalty at this moment in time. So we're still within the DRS zone. Look at the delta to the top left. See, we're really closing in on Infamous. So he's not using the battery. Going down the straight and being quite aggressive with the chicane. I really enjoyed driving going through the chicane itself. And we set another fastest lap of a 10-0. No threat from behind at this stage. I'm really starting to close in just a little bit more. And did a video recently on why I love PlayStation so much. And one of the big reasons is definitely in terms of the competition. Everyone seems to be pretty competent on this. Seems to be a lot more players online as well. Lobby seem to get full very, very quickly, and the speed from start to finish very, very similar to PC in terms of the experience so far. But coming through here, Infamous has actually picked up a time penalty. So as long as we don't get any more, he's now not a factor. And if you may just saw if you look very, very closely, his red light was actually flashing into here. So there is an opportunity, despite him having the DRS, there is an opportunity for us to overtake this guy in second. If we overtake this guy in second, we effectively win this race. So we're going to be pushing very, very hard in this lap. Really wanted to be Infamous as he now sets fast up, but then we just respond straight back. So 3 laps in a row that we're doing the fastest up so far. So we have been aggressive with the battery, but we have saved enough. So if we can get close enough going into this final sector, then we actually have an opportunity. But we've got to make sure that we don't get a time penalty. So you can see the concentration is nice and real on the face here now. Infamous is probably going to be pushing quite hard, and at the moment we are not quite close enough. So being aggressive with the battery, actually using it before the last straight. Now this is crucial. If we get really good on this corner, now we're going to be using a little bit on the exit just so we can get nice and close. And now this is why it's sometimes so important that you don't let yourself go into that red blinking zone of the battery but get a poor exit. But you can see he gets a really nice exit, but since he is under 10%, you can see how much speed that we are closing in here. Does he defend to the left? We go to the left, but then we go to the right. Down the inside for the far chicane. He tries to go around the outside, but it's never going to happen. And we managed to go up into second place, which is going to give us the win. Doing the objective we wanted. And fair play to Cass VD33, if I can read that correctly. Fair play. He decided not to go around the outside chicane. There's only really room for one car. And that's why it is sometimes very, very important. Don't let yourself get too low in the battery. Because you can see he got such a good exit. But because we had so much more speed and we were above that 10%, we were like an absolute missile in a straight line. So GG to him. Fair, fair play. But now we move on to Silverstone. This race here is a very, very interesting one as well. It's in the same lobby as well. I think we're starting roughly, well, a little bit further up than 8th on the grid. So let's see, we've got P14 on the grid. Now let's see what we can do. We've got 5 lights here. As the lights now go out, trying to get a good start and a pretty respectable launch, not too bad at this stage here. But then an absolute car crash in front of me, as all these notifications I will be turning off in the near future. So go around the outside, saw a really, really good opportunity here. Then to go down the inside of all these cars, but then, yeah, literally just got stuck in an F1 sandwich there. Nothing we could do, and now we're back into P19, but now up into P18 here. So this race, I always advise people, if this happens to you in open lobby, always continue. You never know what kind of position you can get back into. So always just do your best. Don't let the red mist settle. And over time, this will actually really, really help you in terms of maintaining composure, giving you a little bit more confidence. So we're just going to give it our absolute best effort now. You can see we don't have any car in sight at this stage. Everyone is in one big train through this part of the race at the moment. So we're just going to give it absolutely everything. Let's see what kind of grid position we can get back into. So coming through into here, we've got a car fairly, fairly close behind us. Gap is still about 3.6 seconds, but you can see that gap is coming down very quickly, and it is just one complete train as Infamous is at the lead of that train. Keeps starting near the front, even though we're on random grid. So coming across the line here, let's see what kind of speed you can do this up. Someone else had a bit of a moment coming to the exit of that last corner. So let's see how much time we can make up on one single lap. So at this stage here, not really pushing too hard with the battery. Want to save it until I actually come up on some cars. There's no real point flexing the ego, trying to get the fastest lap. So we're using a bit of the battery, but we are going to turn it off quite quickly as well. So as we go underneath that bridge, decide to turn it off. No DRS activated until next lap. So that's when we really need to be within that 1 second zone. But it looks like already we're going to be very, very close to that detection point. So using a bit of DRS on exit of the corner once again, just to get that little bit of that momentum. But then we decide to turn it off because I think we are going to be more than close enough for next lap. And you can see the gap is already under 1 second. So we did a purple first sector, coming through into here now, going through this left hand side, going into the right, trying to get really good exit coming off here. And we're not using the battery because there's absolutely no point at this stage. It would just be really a pure waste. So coming towards the end of the hangar straight, still have Dynamite actually following quite close behind. YouTube member of mine. Want to first priority invite to these lobbies, make sure you click that join button on the YouTube membership, because I will be inviting people in as a first priority if they're a member. And we do a very, very nice move down the inside of that McLaren. Dynamite actually setting the fastest lap of the race. Coming through into here, this is another opportunity, so not being cautious, we'll just go down the inside here. So being aggressive when we need to be, so being very, very efficient with our overtake so far. And we still have quite a lot of battery, and we get the DRS as well. So really timed that nicely. Turning off the battery once again, because I believe we could actually catch these people, and I don't think we're going to catch them quick enough before the next detection point. So we didn't use any of the battery going down that straight. Now we're going to be using probably a little bit more on the exit of this corner, making sure for the first DRS straight of the next lap, that's where I want to be aiming to get this battery. So detection points here, I doubt we are going to be close enough. So you can see not using any of the battery there. So always being forward thinking is something I cannot stress enough. Even if you don't have the pace, it can sometimes really significantly improve your result. So coming off here, using the battery down here, because these guys are going to be having the DRS ahead of me, doing a purple middle sector, and I believe I should be able to get within the detection point going through into this next lap. So still not using any battery here. You can see people are going side by side. They are really going to be slowing each other down. Coming off the exit of this corner, we are not going to use any battery once again, and we do set the fastest lap of the race of a 27.6. The detection point is coming up now, and we should just about be within it. So we didn't use any battery to do that, so we've still got quite a bit on board, because like the first video, you can use all the battery, but you don't want to be under that 10%, because under that 10%, then you can see how much speed you lose in a straight line. The battery is not operating at its full power. So coming through into here now, trying to go down the inside of this Red Bull, so plenty of mechanical grip on the inside, and we managed to do that very, very nicely. Now we decide to be a little bit more aggressive with the battery, so we're not going to go down the inside here. Got a bit to use, but again, sometimes you want to keep in mind, I don't want to be going under 10% really at all at any point during the race, especially on the last lap, because that's where you'll be losing a lot of the power. So just really focusing on getting a good exit, using the battery once we get on the DRS zone here. So just a little boost of the battery, and then we decide to turn it off, because we're not going to overtake the cars up ahead. I'm not sure what that guy's doing, going down the straight completely backwards. And then again, really just trying to pick people off nice and efficiently. So we're going to go around the outside of this McLaren. It's DRS Neil, very fast driver from South Africa, I believe. So GG to him, a very, very fast driver. We're going across the line, and now we're back into P7. So at one point, we were in P19, P18, and we managed to fight our way back to P7. So this is actually a very, very good comeback so far. On to the last lap of this race. So we've got about 60-ish% of the battery, but remember, don't want to be getting into that lower 10% bracket. So coming off here, it gets a bit of a squiggly exit. He has the DRS on the car up ahead, so he's also going to be very, very fast in the straight. And we poke our nose down the inside just to put him offline. It's actually quite hard to overtake here, but normally it's a good way to set yourself up for the next corner. So we're going to go around the outside, get earlier on the throttle, use that momentum on the exit. Now we're using the battery power. Looks like he wants to try and fight this position as much as possible. So we're going to leave him room on the inside. Kind of like a Verstappen Hamilton, but a little bit more room there. Going through into Maggots and Beckett's. Easy go be within the detection point. I can see some guy up ahead The guy in fourth has actually has a 2 pace or 2 second penalty. So we're going to use the ERS here. You can see this guy's light is flashing. You can just see the speed we have going down the straight. That's how much of a difference. And that is why you don't want to be going under 10%. And this is the exact reason why as well, because look at the power we have. We're going to go side by side, go around the outside to get the inside for this last call. It doesn't want to do that one bit. And as my voice completely cracks, going across the line, we managed to come back to P4 after that horrendous first lap. And then my horrendous voice just cracking as we go across the line. That was some PlayStation lobbies. I would like to thank everyone who was a part of that. As I said, if you join my YouTube membership by clicking the join button, you will be getting a first priority invite to these lobbies, as well as my league racing setups updates. Also, you'll get to practice with me when I do my league races for each platform. And you'll also get a permanent discount for my one-to-one coaching, which you can find at www.coachlimitless.com. So thank you so much. Really hope you enjoyed this. And I will be catching you very, very soon. Peace.